Hi, I'm Kate Pietrini, Head of Marketing with the CMO Room, and I'm here with Will, who's Chief Growth Officer at Razorfish. Thank you, Will.
Thank
it's
you.
Nice seeing you
It's
again.
great to see you too. Thanks for having me.
It's been a couple months, but it feels like yesterday.
Yes.
So how are you doing this summer? What is going on with your summer plans?
It has been a busy summer, personally and professionally. You know, trying to enjoy the good weather, World Cup, the Knicks
The World
here
Cup.
in New York.
It's fascinating.
Lots happening right outside right now in prep.
I feel like I thought March Madness was hard to get through. Like, this is really hard.
This was crazy from a personal fandom and advertising standpoint, so it's been fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So with that, you have so much pressure. Agencies now have so much pressure to, with the changing landscape and the, to solve complex problems now more than ever. Your pitches are changing. The amount of them are changing. The amount of demand of what they want you to achieve is changing. As Chief Growth Officer, how are you managing that?
It's a lot, there's the burden of performing. Obviously, we want to win lots of business, which is important. But it's how do we stay ahead to put ourselves in a position to win, and how do we evolve as an agency faster than the landscape, faster than our clients and our prospects. And so it has been a very busy year for us. It's going to get busier in second half, I'm sure. But we spent a lot of time looking at, hearing what our clients are asking for, hearing what the market's asking for, and then trying to lead that conversation in a lot of ways. And so when we see it in things like, LLM search and just the media landscape in general in particular, there's just a lot of change taking place, and the role of creativity, right? We're an integrated agency. We're getting it from all angles.
The role of creativity is every angle.
Exactly.
There's so many channels. How do you also manage that? With all the channels that are taking place?
I mean, it's a fragmented landscape, right? And I think it's more confusing than ever to try to navigate it. And so, we think about things like connected media and the intersection of media and CRM, and you got to look at this as a whole picture, right? If you as an agency are thinking about it from a fragmented perspective, you're not guiding your client to that connected space that I think we're all aspiring to get to. And that's going to make it harder. I'm sure we will talk more about AI.
Yes.
But it's going to be really hard for brands to adopt AI effectively in their ecosystems if their foundational layers of data and technology and media and CRM are not connected already. So we spent a lot of time and energy thinking about that at Razorfish.
And when you think about it, so you have clients that have this world in their hands of what they want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And they come to you to make it happen. How do you manage that expectation from you come with your ideas and they might not be on board, right? That has to be challenging.
They always accept the first draft.
Yes,
no?
You're right.
Is that not happening for everyone?
Yes.
No, you know what? What I will say is I think clients are smarter than ever and asking more intelligent questions than ever. And it can make for a very exciting discussion, but I think there's a lot more collaboration happening. I think this is a very different evolution than what we saw with identity and data. I think there was agencies leapt ahead a little bit, particularly with the acquisitions in that space. And there was a lot of education to kind of catch up. I think now, we've seen that gap erode quite a bit. And so we're having, I think, really spirited discussions about what the right direction is and what is the role of search, in the future.
So
what is the role of the website?
Of search in the future?
Search is changing, search was the front door for a long time, and now we're thinking about what is the role of LLM search, right? And how does that play in? And I think, as a brand, if you're missing out in this geo space, it's going to be really hard. It's the strong foundation for not only a lot of your media engagements, but also things like PR, right? If you're not showing up in these spaces, you're missing out on not only your current customer, which you're going to start losing, but you're missing all those growth audiences.
How should companies rethink visibility if they aren't appearing, in AI search, all the above, and their visibility isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it today. So studies are showing that 16% of brands, only 16%, are tracking their AI visibility regularly. Again, we've seen this in all of these kind of adoption phases of digital and of identity, and now with AI, where there's a lot of eagerness, and you start to see some baseline exploration. But then when it gets to adoption and implementation, it's a lot harder, right? Especially,
of course it is.
If that foundation isn't there, it's
Change
really hard
management.
to do this type of change management. And so it's a surprising number, but then at the same time, not all that surprising, because if they don't have the tools in place to start tracking these things or don't know where to begin, how can you start to measure it?
And that shows you the opportunity that is out there for so many brands to grow their visibility.
Exactly. And that's a lot of the questions that we're getting is, how do I get ahead of this? How do I either keep pace with my competitors? How do I continue to outpace them? Because I've been thinking about this, but I've hit a plateau.
I mean, it's something everyone's talked, companies have talked about forever.
Yes.
But I feel as if this is the time is now to really get a step on movement and visibility than ever before.
Yes.
And it's changing so fast every day.
And, Gen Alpha, who, by the way, is older than everyone thinks they are.
My daughter is Gen Alpha.
It's, they look to AI first for information, right? And so this is a place where brands need to get a step ahead because there's a lot of consumers in the future with buying power who are going to be going to AI first.
When's the last time you've gone to Google?
I still go to Google a pretty decent amount, but for
Okay,
different ways.
fair.
I do still use Google for search. I use AI for a lot more of like discovery and
Okay,
learning, let's say.
all right. And you work hard on those prompts, right?
And I work really hard on those prompts. I try to prompt to get better prompts out of it. I try to prompt at the end to say, hey, how could I have gotten to this output more quickly? So I'm still a student of it too, right?
Yes,
I'm far from an expert.
That's the point, right? And every day it changes.
Exactly.
Let's talk a minute on the sales funnel.
Yeah.
We have a lot of conversations with all of our, clients and peers and prospects. Is it dead? Do you think it's dead?
I don't think the funnel is dead. I think we talk about the funnel being dead every 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, fair.
I think it's hollowed out a bit,
Yeah.
right? I think as happens in these moments where performance kind of takes the upswing, there's a lot of energy and investment there. And there's a lot of demand right now in the marketplace from boards, from investors, from the street
Very
to
true.
show immediate impact and results. And in those moments, it's possible for brands to lose sight of refilling the top of the funnel with good brand work and then pushing consumers through that middle funnel. And so I think we're starting to see a little of that hollowing in the middle. I think the brands that are doing it right are thinking about how do I engage in brand building activities that still show long-term performance, and how do I have good measurement frameworks in place that support that story? And those are the brands I think that are going to have the head start this time.
What area of the funnel do you think's changed the most?
Definitely the middle. It's
Okay.
the consumer behavior piece, right? It's less about consumers doing research. They're going to the AI platforms and saying, tell me which is the best.
Yes.
And then they are making that decision. They may do some validation. I think we still see that, especially with community
Everything
networks.
needs to be validated still. You cannot take validation out of any part of the funnel, any part of what you're doing on search, chat, anywhere.
It's good professional behavior. It's good consumer behavior too,
Exactly.
right? Go to your friends, go to the platforms that you
Exactly.
trust. The same way that you might watch a YouTube video on how to, mount a TV. You're still going to call your buddy who's a bit more handy,
I love this.
right?
You're right.
And I think that middle part is where we're seeing the most change right now. And it'll be interesting to see as brands kind of evolve and adapt to this new landscape, how much effort is put into securing that middle funnel through LLM search.
I love it. You mentioned a few things about performance measurement.
Yeah.
How are you chasing in the pressure of chasing the incremental spend and making sure that constantly the
Yeah.
arrow is going up every day, right? I mean, there's not a minute where you can have this ebb and flow. The pressure is constantly like, I want more, more, up, higher, more.
It's finding the pockets for incremental outcomes for the clients, right? Like that's what we're, hell bent on, is in every opportunity with our existing clients or with potential new clients, we're thinking about how can we take your business today and transform it. And I think having this connected view and not coming in with just a media lens, but coming in with a media lens layered with creativity and how it's connected to CRM and loyalty, that allows us to start thinking about what are the business decisions that can transform you versus here's an optimization that may work for today or tomorrow, right?
Exactly. And I love the loyalty factor.
Yeah.
Because that is needed now more than ever
Yes.
with your clients, with your peers, with your connections in general. Like loyalty is something that has become a driver in everything you do.
We've seen that through some, bespoke Razorfish research that there's a fragmented nature of loyalty right now in the
Yes.
landscape, particularly with younger consumers, where they're not as loyal to brands anymore. They're loyal to particular products more so. And so I think that's something that brands are starting to deal with is consumers are looking at maybe a more utilitarian place than
Yes.
brand love in the past. And so
Brand
how do you
love.
build that brand love back in a world where we're all optimizing towards the outcome?
And changing at their pace to be
Yes.
putting in front of them, and this is more of a brand perspective, from an agent
Yeah.
perspective, getting the products consistently in front of them to get them in and keep them.
And it's positioning that brand without losing authenticity, right? You can't chase every trend, right? You have to be thoughtful about where you interact with culture and where you have a right to drive culture. It's not just hopping on every trend, and there are some brands, I think we know the famous brands on Twitter who do it really, really
Wow.
well. And we also have those moments where we go, ooh, that was super cringy, for brands who are inserting themselves in places they don't belong.
We all
And
know
so-
those too.
Yes.
Both. Love.
We won't name them.
We will not name. We won't go there.
But yeah.
I loved seeing you.
Likewise.
This was awesome, and
Thanks for
I
having me.
can't thank you enough for being here and for your time.
course.
It was awesome seeing you, and we have a party to go to.
I can't
So
wait.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Cheers.